Welcome to Heritage Roofing Southwest with me, Russell Blackalla. I'm on the tools today, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how we deal with really exposed locations when it comes to running lead mopsticks. So the roof in question that needs the repair isn't a super old roof, but it was just a little bit under detailed, so under specified. So there's a very, very steep gable coming off the main roof onto a wooden finial. And the current specification there is code red. Code red, code 5 lead with stainless steel straps. Now, stainless steel straps have become more and more popular around the UK. It's kind of like a French thing. They love it. They like it for aesthetics. But down in South Devon here on the coast, it's extremely exposed, and just relying on stainless steel for strapping code 5 lead in an environment where it's very coastal and it gets completely hammered by the southwesterlies down here, it's just not appropriate. So code 5 in general isn't appropriate for a listed building, isn't appropriate for heritage work, particularly for mops, flat roofs, dormers, cladding. You'd almost always want to use a minimum of code 6, and that's for various reasons: longevity, aesthetics, and honouring the appropriate age materials that were there previously. So what we're doing in this situation is the code 5 lead with stainless steel straps mop ridge, it had blown up. It had also inherited some fatigue cracks where it was fixed at both ends on one of the units. So one end was fixed just by a cluster of copper nails, which is the standard, and the other end was fixed because it was underneath some ridge tiles. So what's happened is it's trying to expand and contract, and it's pulled away from its fixing, so it's fatigued. But the fatiguing probably would have been okay. You probably wouldn't have even noticed it had it have not been in such an extreme environment, because they actually gave the two units quite a lot of lap. So it wouldn't have leaked, but the actual wings blew up, and that was what sort of triggered the emergency repair. So what we're going to do to hold the wings down is a system called ball tack clipping, and we're going to basically fix code 8 straps underneath the code 8 units, and then those code 8 straps are going to return around an extra flange on the wings and then return around again. So it'll almost be like a welt lock strapping system, and it's something you don't see all that often, but in this environment it's very much needed. So we've got a very, very tall listed building right on the river down in Salcombe, and it's bang out onto the estuary there. So it's like the mouth opens out and you're just hitting the English Channel as it just sort of the English Channel at that point is growing into the Atlantic Ocean essentially. So it really, really just gets hammered by the weather. It gets hammered by the salts, grains of sand and debris, and things get pulled off the sea and just get smashed into these buildings. So they just require belts and braces attitude, really. So that's what we're going to do. Watch, see what you think. If you've got an exposed position and you want to utilize lead ridge or mops, have a go, see what you think. Okay, so that's all of my workshop work done now. I've got the straps made up. I've made up all the individual bays, including just a spare bit that I might need for something, maybe going around the finial, or who knows, might need an extra bit. But that's it, I'm done. So my next stop is to take it to site. I've decided to do the bending on site because I don't really fancy bending it around a mop in here and then transporting it. I just feel like there's just too many little things that are going to get bent and it's going to irritate me. So I'm just going to bend it around the mop to the perfect pitch of the roof on site after the straps are on, and that's it. Just got to get rid of those stainless steel ones and then do it the proper way for a listed building in an exposed environment in England. Yeah, it's interesting to think that as well, because obviously England is a little island that just gets completely smashed all the way around, particularly on the west coast, and France is not. So we shouldn't adopt French methods too often, especially on a listed building. So we've only actually got 50mm of cover. Fortunately, we're going to have quite a lot more in a minute because it's going to be down here. It's about 160mm these are at the minute, and our wings are 250, so much larger wings, much heavier code, much more appropriate for the conditions, which are, I mean, don't get me wrong, the conditions are amazing, but just require a little bit more thought than just the standard, you know, putting some mops on and then walking away. So what I'm aiming to achieve here, we've got quite a nice finial post on the end. You can see the river runs out here and then out into the estuary there, which is the English Channel, just as it's opening, as I said before, to the Atlantic Ocean. So it just, the weather channels down here and hits this point. So we just want to ensure that we start our fixings from that end and we overlap everything that way, so the prevailing weather is blowing over the laps and not under them. These details are always weird when you're doing them retrospectively, when you've got a finial like this. It's just pointless giving it an upstand. What are you actually achieving giving it an upstand? Because at some point you're going to be reliant on sealant. They didn't have that before. They just nailed it and it was doing an alright job, really, to be honest. It's about half a metre or so away from the actual house out here. It really protrudes over with a nice big soffit area, so it's fine. I think it's just going to look tidier if we just dress it in and then seal against it. It just seems like kind of like a pointless exercise getting an upstand in that. It's not doing anything. So next stop is to scribe all of the straps to work out where they're all going to go. I'm just going to do a little scratch on each one like that, and that'll weather off fine. It's just a light little scratch to tell me where to go, just a nice little reference point.